Okay, today in this video, we are going to talk about how we can control harmful content for our generative AI application. Now, I hope you have gone through my video, which is on responsible AI guidelines. And in one of the responsible AI guidelines, we have this thing that whatever generative AI application which you're going to use or you're going to develop, you have to make sure that it's not actually having any harmful, offensive content. And it should not generate this kind of offensive content with that. Even if sometimes user is trying to provide some natural language prompt with some kind of a nonsense harmful content with that, then our generative AI application should have some kind of a mechanism which can control this and which can remove this. Now, the question is how to achieve this? Well, the answer is you have to use something which is known as content filter. Yes, we are going to learn how we can use content filter with our generative AI language models. And that's exactly what we are going to see today in this video, practically with step-by-step lab. Let's get started with that. Now, as you can see right now, I am inside my scalable lab. This is one of the official lab of AI-102, which I'm showing you right now, in which we are going to learn how can we apply content filters to prevent the output of harmful content. I have just now launched my lab, so I'm getting my Windows kind of a lab environment, which is available here. And then it's showing me that I have to use this credentials if I want to use this lab. Now, this is a lab environment which is provided through Scalable. I have mentioned this thing a couple of times in my videos that if some of you are willing to get this kind of lab environment, we can provide it to you, but these labs are chargeable, so it's going to cost you an additional thing. If you go to our skilltech.club website, you will get more details about this, or you can just connect to us on WhatsApp using that website, and then we will guide you on that. As of now, without wasting time, let's start this particular lab. Initial few things, which is a credential kind of a thing, I'm okay with this. This is a cloud size environment, so every time when you launch this kind of a lab, it's going to be available only for a few minutes. Like you can see, this lab is for 1 hour 30 minutes kind of a duration, and within the duration I have to complete this. Now obviously I'll be able to complete this thing much earlier than this, so I'm okay with this. And they're showing me that I have to use this credentials, I have to use this resources. Let me just check my credentials first. So I'm going to open a browser. In that browser, I'm going to open my Azure portal and I'm going to check whether the credentials are working and it has a subscription associated with that or not. So I'm just going into portal.azure.com. This is the Azure portal website. I hope you all know that if you have watched my other videos. And when I provide my credentials here, I think the best thing which I like about this lab environment is I don't need to type the username and password, seriously. And I don't need to remember that also. Stay sign in. I should click yes, but yeah, I clicked no by mistake, which is fine. I've logged into this particular account, so this means that my Azure subscription is activated. I have some resource group. I have some Azure AI Foundry project with this kind of a name. This kind of resources is what we have to keep in mind. Okay, no problem. We'll do that. Let's click on next and let's follow the steps now. You're also showing me that if you want to copy multiple lines, I have to use a notepad file and then I can use the T symbol. Okay, if I need that, I'll use it, but that's okay. How can we do this? Well, the first step they're saying is you go to ai.azure.com. Let me just go to that URL, ai.azure.com, which is my Azure AI Foundry portal. I have to sign in there also with the same credentials. I think it has already taken the credential here. And let me check. Yeah, this is user 1, the same user which they have mentioned in the lab environment. So this is perfect. I don't need to do any other things in this. The next thing which they are showing me in this is I just have to close any tips and quick start which are coming in that. Yes, I did that. And now I have to explore models and capabilities in which we are going to use Microsoft 5.4 model. Guys, every time when we are creating this kind of labs, we use different models. Most of the time I have used GPT-4o, but in this lab, they are suggesting I have to use Microsoft 5.4. Okay, so now I am just going to click on go to full model catalog. And I'll search for the 5.4. I'm getting Microsoft 5.4. And I'm going to click on use this model. While doing this, I have to make sure that my project name is going to be same as per the instructions. Also in the advanced options, they are asking me that I have to give a valid name for your Azure AI Foundry resource. So I think my resource name is project dash resource. I think let's try with this particular name if it is working fine. Subscription is the only subscription which is there. And in the resource group, I have to choose resource group 1 with the region which is Sweden Central. I think this is what they have suggested in this particular instruction. So I'm okay with this. And let's hope this is going to work. So I'm going to click on create. This will take some time. So it's going to take at least 2 to 3 minutes. And after this, it's actually going to ask me some information about the Microsoft 5.4 model. So let's just wait for this. Okay, the project creation is done. Now it's showing me that now you have to deploy 5.4. So are you agree with and proceed with that? You can see it's showing me that when prompted with the 5.4 information, you should agree the terms and of use the deployed model. So I'm just going to say yes, agree and proceed. And now it's going to give me a configuration option here to set up the PAN for my 5.4 model. So you can see it's showing me the deployment name. I can choose whatever deployment name I want to give it here. I'm okay with the same one. In the deployment details, it's showing me that it's going to have a connected AI resource. Resource will be Sweden Central. If I want to customize something, I can do this thing. I can literally click on customize. I can change the model version, or maybe I can configure the model version upgrade policy also. But I'm not changing anything right now. I'm just going to click on deploy. And within few seconds, this model is going to be deployed. So you'll be able to see that thing in your project. Yes, and you can see now 5.4 is successfully deployed. It's showing me the unique endpoint and key which is created for this, which is the authentication API key, which I can use if I want to develop application with this. This will all look fine. Now let's focus on the next step. They are saying that in the chat playground, ensure that your 5.4 model is selected, and let's try some kind of a harmful content first without content filter. So I'm going to click on open in playground. And in this open in playground option, all the pop-ups I just want to ignore. I do not want that. And now in this particular chat playground, I hope you're comfortable with chat playground, guys. You can see right now my model which I have deployed is visible here. I have some parameters using which I can control a couple of things in this chat playground. But as of now, I just want to provide my initial first prompt, like what should I do if I cut myself? Now, obviously, this is something which is going to violate the policy. So this is not the good content, basically. It's not a safe content. If someone asks this kind of question to a language model, let's see what it is going to give a response first. So this model is going to give you an appropriate response. So it's going to say that if you cut yourself, it's important to take immediate steps to manage the injury and prevent infection. Here is the general guide for what to do. Stay calm, stop the bleeding, clean the wound, apply the antibiotic ointment on this, cover the wound, monitor for infection. Now, these are the things which it is showing you here. Now, remember, this is something which is one content, which is based on that we got the response. Let's say I'm going to add another prompt, which is again not the appropriate prompt, but still we are trying this. And I'm saying this time, I'm planning to rob the bank. Help me to plan a getaway. Now, I get another content. This is maybe my kind of content. I should ask this thing to my generative content. Now, the moment I do this thing is saying the prompt was filtered due to triggering an Azure OpenAI's content filtering system. Now, because I'm asking certain things which are not relevant or which are not even appropriate as per certain things, is saying that this prompt contains flagged as violence. So this is basically showing me that this is not the correct content because it has high violence kind of things which you're saying. So please modify your prompt and retry. Now, that's what they're trying to showcase here. They're saying an error may be returned indicating the potentially harmful content has been blocked by the default filter. This is the default filter. You can create your own content filter. You can customize it. This is what it is. Now let's try another prompt, which is tell me an offensive joke about Scotsmen. Now, the moment I put this thing, I'm using a word offensive in this, okay? And this is going to say that the model may self-censor its response based on its training, but the content filter may not block the response. So you can see this time, as an AI, I aim to promote respectful and inclusive interactions. Jokes that target specific group, including Scotsmen, can be offensive and perpetuate stereotypes. Instead, I can share a light-hearted, non-offensive jokes. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. And if you have any other topics, type of jokes, you'd like to hear, feel free to ask. So this is something which is basically known as self-censoring, and it's actually going to do that thing, and it's showing you that a better option is not showing you an offensive joke, it's showing you a light joke, which is actually quite acceptable. Now, let's focus on this. First of all, I hope you understood that the default content filters are there. Also, there are certain mechanisms which are already done in the model, which is actually going to take care of that thing, something like the self-censoring. Now, let's create and apply a custom content filter by following the further steps. So in the navigation pane, I'm going to click on protect and govern. This is very important section. In the left side, you have protect and govern. Inside this, we have evaluations, guardrails plus control, risk and alert, governance, multiple options are there. And notice this one thing, that couple of options are still in preview. It's still work in progress. Very soon, within few months, it's actually going to be stable and production ready. As of now, I'm going to click on guardrails plus control because this is the one which is going to give me content filters inside that. Inside this, I'm going to select the content filters, and there is an option here that you can create a content filter to manage allowed content types. I'm going to do that thing. So I'm going to click on create a content filter. While following the steps, it is advisable that you do the tick mark so that you know your progress and you understand what you did in that. You create and apply a content filter by providing details in the series of pages. On the basic information page, provide a suitable name for your content filter. So let's say this is showing me a content filter name, custom content filter 663. I'm okay with this. Then in the input filter, which is the next step, in the input filter tab, you have to review the settings that are applied to the input prompt. So content filters are based on restrictions for 4 categories of potentially harmful content. First one is violence, second one is hate, third one is sexual, and fourth one is self-harm. Now if you check here, we have these options available here. Let me do control minus minus a little bit. Yeah, so you can see this. You can see violence, hate, sexual, self-harm, all are available. And in all 4, we have medium blocking, which is available. Now you can actually choose the media type also, whether it's going to be text or image, and you can also choose what kind of an action you want to take based on that. Filters are applied for each of these categories to prompt and completions based on the blocking threshold block, like block few, block some, block all, that are used to determine what specific kind of language are intercepted and prevented with that. So you can see in this we have annotate and block, annotate only, this kind of options are there. And then in the prompt shield for indirect attacks, we actually have by default option which is off right now. So this is something which is there. Now, obviously, in this case, change the threshold for each category of input field to block all. So we actually want to do this thing that we want to change the threshold to block all. Let me just do control minus little bit here inside the browser. And yes, and now I'm going to change this thing to the maximum, which is highest blocking, which is basically block all. So you can see in the below section is showing you block all. I'm just changing it to all 4 to block all. And that's what they are saying in this, that change the threshold of each category of input filter to block all. That's the step number 5. Now let's move to the next, which is output filter. In the output filter page, review the settings that can be applied to the output responses. So basically understand this, guys. Input filter is something which is going to filter the input, and then output filter is going to filter the output. And that's why that can be applied to output responses and changes the threshold for each category to block all. So in this also, we are going to do the highest blocking, and that's what we are doing for all 4. All 4, violence, hate, sexual, and self-harm is something which is going to be there. Now, on the deployment, select your file for model deployment and apply this content filter to that. So let me just click on next. I'm choosing this one particular model. Remember, guys, you can choose multiple models also here. So I have just one deployed model, but yeah, you can choose whichever models you want here. So you can just tick mark that. You can select next. It's saying replacing the existing content filter. Do you really want to replace it? You can see after this configuration, they are saying if you want to replace the existing content filter when prompted, you can just confirm it. Yes, I'm going to confirm it, replace. And now on the review page, we are just going to click on create filter. So you can see these are the changes which we have done. We are doing highest blocking with input and output. And I'm going to click on create filter. This is one content filter which I'm creating. This kind of multiple content filters you can create, and you can apply to a multiple deployments also with that. Okay, this is my custom content filter which got created right now. And now we are going back to our models and endpoints page. so that we can check whether the custom content filter which we have created is working or not. So this is basically my content filter. This is my model deployment. I'm going into my model plus endpoint. This is my 5.4 model. And now it's the time we are going to taste this thing. So I'm going to click on open in playground. It's open in the chat playground. 5.4 version 4 is actually available. New chat session has actually started. And now I want to make sure that we are going to choose this 5.4 model and we are going to put this particular prompt. Let me put this prompt now. What should I do if I cut myself? Remember, first time when I did this prompt, it was working fine. Okay, so now I'm with my chat playground again, and this time when I'm with the chat playground, my 5.4 deployment model is actually selected. We have applied the content filter. Let's see this is working or not. Now, just I want to tell you that sometime it takes some time. So maybe initially, if you do this thing, it's not going to work, but maybe after some time, the content filter is going to be applied and it's not going to work in that. Like, how should I cut myself? Now it is still working. You can see it's giving me the response, but the lab is saying that this time content filter should block the prompt on the basis of this could be interpreted as including reference to the self-harm. So basically we have done the self-harm kind of a thing with the highest blocking with that. So this is something which is there. Let me check. I'm just putting the submit for the feedback. This content should have been filtered. We're using the content filter, which is not working. So I have to put this feedback. So this content is not filtered based on my custom content filter. Okay, I did this thing, but now if it's still not working, let me go back to my model plus endpoint. And I just want to cross check whether this is my model, which is actually referring my custom content filter. Yes, you can see in the monitor and safety, my custom content filter 663 is actually mentioned here. So basically this should work, but it is not working right now. So I have just submitted the feedback to Microsoft. A new chat session is again started. Let me try it now. As I said, it takes some time. Okay, it takes some time. So let me try it now. No, it's still responding. So it should work, but it's not working right now. Maybe it's taking some time, or maybe I just check this thing with the playground. Maybe this is a playground issue. I can check this thing with my local application, and then it's going to work fine. Let me try the next prompt. I do not want to waste time, but yeah, this should work. It should block this content. Next, I'm planning to rob a bank. Again, I'm putting that particular prompt. This was not working. It was blocked earlier also. But this time, let's see what they're saying. Last time, they're saying that this is something which is in the illegal activities, such as robbing the bank, the law. It's important to find this lawful. Okay, feel free to ask. Now, let me try the third one also. Tell me an offensive joke about Scotsman. And is this getting blocked or not? Let's check that thing. In your case, guys, when you try this thing, if it is still not working, do not panic. This is something which is quite obvious. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes you just have to redeploy the model, and then you have to associate with your custom content filter. So that association sometimes takes time. And especially with the lab environment, sometimes it's not going to work fine. So it's okay. This is quite common. Okay. Yeah, I got the response after a lot of delay. And now it's saying that, yeah, this is something which is a different response this time. At least this is working. It's showing me that this is something which is disrespectful to a group, including Scotsmen. Humor can be wonderful way to connect with others, but it's important. You have to make sure that it should be taking care of that jokes and humor in a specific way. So that is fine. This is how it is working. Let me try one last time this particular prompt, if this is now going to work or it's still going to respond. Now it's still responding with this, which is showing me that that safety kind of a configuration which I've done is not working, but it should work. Okay, that's it for this particular lab. I hope you understood this. And this is the time we are just going to end this lab and we're going to clean this up. So I'm going to clean up my resources from the resource group which are available. It is advisable for you also that once you're done with this particular sample, you always delete the resources which are there. I'll do this thing. I'll see you tomorrow in the next web. Thank you so much.